KFDI, good morning.
Good morning, JJ.
Yes, Leanne, how are you?
Honey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I was really looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, you angel. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's get down to business. October 7th, Century 2, the Just Getting Started tour. You'll be here in Wichita. Everyone's very excited about that. Lots of folks still watching I'm Every Woman on Netflix. Top 10 show back in the day, but still very popular. All right. I got one question to lead with. Last time we spoke, you were working on building a playground for the grandbabies. You get that squared away?
Yeah, I did,
okay.
Honey. Yes, I did.
Good for you.
I got the big fancy where they actually do it, and my husband doesn't have to because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Well,
but yes, I got it in, and my baby. I've got two babies now, and that oldest one can climb all over that thing and is loving it.
I just had, I didn't. My daughter did. I've been made a grandfather for a second time. Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Little baby Kamina.
How beautiful.
She wasn't very little, 11 pounds, 2 ounces, but.
11 pounds, 2 ounces.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
I know. Thank God for the C-section.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, well, my second one was born May the 12th, and he was 3 weeks early and was 8 pounds, 7 ounces.
Ooh, okay.
So he would have been a big baby. I don't know if he'd have been 11, but probably 10.
All right, we're gonna switch to your kids for a second here. You talk a lot about your kids when you do your stand-up, when you do your comedy. What was Mother's Day like for you in your house? I mean, did you ever get anything weird from the kids?
No, I don't. I can't. Now, my husband, even though I'm not his mama, he always does a lot for me on Mother's Day, and he is a wonderful gift giver. But when I told him, I said, I would like to be able to sit out here on the porch and look at birds. I'm a bird person,
yep.
And I love a hummingbird. And he got a bird bath for me. It was big ceramic, and I don't know how he carried that thing across the yard. And he put a border around it, and it looked like a grave.
Oh, Lord.
And me and my kids were like, the kids were like, don't hurt Dad's feelings, but that looks like a grave, like somebody's buried out there. And we never said anything to him about it, so I just look out there, and it's usually birds flying over a grave.
Oh, well, it's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah, it is the thought that counts.
Hey, Leanne, who's the most famous person on your smartphone?
Oh, my Lord. I'd say Reese Witherspoon. Okay,
well, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to talk about You're Cordially Invited, the movie you did with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon. What's the one thing either one of them, Will or Reese, said to you while filming that stuck with you? I mean, any sort of advice, anything funny?
Well, there were so many things. She and I talked about a lot of personal stuff. And, she's a Tennessee girl.
Mm-hmm.
So and her little mama was raised in Harriman near where I've raised my children. So we had more of a lot of personal stuff. Now, Will Ferrell said to me with a straight face, he said, I think stand-up comedy is one of the hardest things anybody can do. He said, now, I don't think it's an art form.
Huh.
You know how funny he is.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I mean, he was being funny.
Sure.
And I bust out laughing. I know he goes, I don't think it's an art form or anything, but I think it's hard. And he did not crack a smile.
Looking for an honest reaction.
I just thought that was so funny.
Sure.
I mean, but everything he did, Reese is very funny, and unbelievable. Like, you cannot take your eyes off of her. But he would walk on set and not say a word, and everybody would just bend over laughing. I mean, he is so naturally funny.
Yeah, truly gifted, and looking forward to seeing that movie when it comes out. Now,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you were fantastic in it.
Oh, Lord, I hope so. Well, I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, maybe we'll get a chance to talk when it premieres. So, anyway, my wife, Amy, from time to time asks me to get something out of her purse. Now, I break out in a sweat. Like that is no man's land. Does your husband feel the same, or is it just me?
Oh, for 30 years, he has rummaged through my purse trying to find something, and I am a very unorganized person, and he is the opposite, and it makes him break out into hives, and he says to me, you've got to do something about this purse, and he will clean out my wallet, and I'm like, do not touch my J. Crew card. and he'll say, you don't need all this. And what do you do with all these hotel keys? You know, you have a hotel thing, and I don't throw them out. I forget it. And so I've got all these things from a Hilton Garden Inn across the United States.
Right.
And he's like, what are you doing? Oh, and it starts a fight every time. And I'm like, leave me alone. My purse is a wreck.
That's interesting because I always return the key every time I check out.
Yeah, I try to.
Okay.
I really try to, but sometimes there's somebody not there, or I'm, busy, or like late, and I just keep it in my. Oh, you won't believe how many I've got, and I've got to throw them away.
Well,
crazy.
The reason I asked that question, and I'm glad your husband and I are kind of on the same page, because we just got back from a trip and we had one of those sling bags that goes across the chest and around the shoulder. Yeah, and my wife Amy, God love her, could not keep that thing organized to save her life. I finally had to take it away from her. I'm like, give me that thing. I will carry it. And there was a pocket for everything. So the minute she asked for something, lip balm, got it. Boom. There it is. Gum, boom. I mean, instantly. Whereas before, when I asked for something, it took 6 or 7 minutes for her to find it. I'm like, oh God, we got to do something about this. We are going to miss the boat.
Can you travel with me?
Yes.
Can you go on tour with me?
Yes. You listen. Don't you tease me. Don't you tease me at all. I will leave this microphone and come join you in a second.
Well, honey, if anybody said to me, lip balm, boom. I mean, I would, because I wrestled. I kept those 2 grandbabies last night, and I had one in my arms, the new one, and I was trying to get lip balm out of my pocketbook, and my purse was just a big black hole, and I ended up having to put on like a bright pink lipstick at late at night, babysitting, because I could not find the lip balm.
Yep, you needed me there for you. I would have found it.
I did need you.
Okay, well, congratulations. You made Variety's list of 10 comics to watch in 2023.
Thank you.
Boy,
I know, that was nifty.
Yeah.
I just got back from that, being honored in Montreal, Canada.
How was Montreal?
Just for laughs.
How was Montreal?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's a festival.
Okay.
So I was probably the only grandmother involved, and so there was a lot of cavorting and going on, and when people get out in the festival, and comedians, we're
sure
crazy anyway. And so, I was, a lot of people staying up in the middle of the night. Not me.
Nope.
Not me, honey. I took my probiotic and went to bed.
Me, I would have gone in the middle of the day and taken a nap.
Well, I did that too.
Good for you. All right. It's getting to be country fair season. And state fairs, county fairs. Do you have a favorite food at the fair when you go to the fair?
I'd enjoy a good turkey leg.
Yes. Yeah, me, I'm French fries with the skin on.
I'm not a funnel cake kind of gal. I think that makes you feel sick, and then you can't enjoy the fair. That kind of stuff.
Right. Me, fries with the skin on. That's my jam right there. I love that stuff.
That is a good one. You're right.
Okay. All right. So you're playing St. Louis in a few days. Now, my wife Amy and I met there. Did something kind of crazy. She was up in Indiana. I was down here in Wichita. We decided for our very first date, we were going to rent an Airbnb New Year's Eve weekend and meet for the first time and stay there for 3 days. That was probably one of the craziest things I've ever done. You and your husband never do a crazy date like that? Like, what's one of the craziest dates you and your husband have ever gone on?
Oh, my Lord. I'm still in awe of y'all renting an Airbnb and never met
it's a story.
Have you met?
Yeah, it's a story. No, we had not met. We had talked a couple times on social media, but we had never met.
Oh, my gosh, and things worked out well.
They did.
Oh, Lord. No, me and my husband, I remember I bartended when I was in college, and I was not good at it, and he was obsessed with me and stalked me, and he's very quiet, and he was, I think, intimidated by me, and he would come and stand at the bar that I worked in and just stare at me. And then, and I knew he was in love with me, and I probably manipulated him,
There's no probably about it, Leanne. Come on now.
Well, and he would say, all right, we also worked at the same restaurant for a while, and he manipulated me.
Okay.
Let me tell you that he knew my uterus was aching and I wanted baby.
Uh-huh.
And there would be a couple would come in with the baby, and the baby start crying and they couldn't eat their dinner, and he would walk around with somebody's baby and wait tables. They let him, and he would bring that baby over to me.
Because there's nothing sexier than a man carrying a baby and taking care of that baby.
Right.
Yes.
And he knew I wanted to be a mama, and so he manipulated me too.
Oh.
Honey. And then he also cleaned up the women's bathrooms for me, and I knew he loved me. Man.
He's a
You
keeper.
know, a women's bathroom is horrible.
Oh, I don't even want to know what goes on in there. Just like the purse, I don't.
Yes,
Even, I
you
don't. I
don't.
don't.
No,
I
you
do
do
not
not.
want to know. All right. So I lived in the South for some time, and you're from the South. I know the real meaning of bless your heart. Can you remember the last time you used that in a sentence?
Honey, I said it yesterday, but let me tell you this. My people said bless your heart in a sweet way and worried about people.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people use that as a, put down or making fun, but my people did not.
Okay. See, in Virginia, it was not meant
as
what
they do?
Oh, yeah. It's a total put down. Bless your heart. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
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 And people probably said it about me. But when I say it, I mean it. I really do. And I mean,
that's good.
Lord, we need to make them a casserole.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it.
Yeah. Tell you what, the Lutherans make a mean casserole.
I bet the Lutherans make a mean casserole.
They do.
What, like a chicken and rice or chicken and noodles?
I got this old Lutheran cookbook on my shelf, and some of the strangest things in that stuff with salmon that shouldn't be done to salmon, but I'm sure it turned out.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it turned. Hey, I'm an adventurous eater. I'll try anything once.
But I love an old timey cookbook from a church.
Yes, and I got my mom's old cookbook, handwritten recipes and everything. So.
Oh, that's sweet.
I love stuff
But the
like
Lutherans did stuff with salmon they shouldn't have.
Yeah, no, it's not good. If you went back to school, Leanne, what would you want to get a degree in?
If I went back to school, I got my undergraduate in Child and Family Studies, and I always wanted to get a master's in my degree's in crisis intervention counseling, and I always want to go back and be a child and family therapist if I didn't make it in Hollywood.
Okay.
So if I went back to school, I would get a master's. And I tell you this, I love my University of Tennessee, and they've been wonderful to me, but I did a show at Clemson, and I thought if I was young and I had to pick a school, that's where I would go now.
Okay.
I thought that was darling.
Yeah, good school for sure. You and my wife Amy would get along. She's got her master's in clinical social work, so she's yeah.
Clinical social work.
Yeah.
I've always thought they were so smart. There's nothing like a licensed clinical social worker.
Yeah, she does good work. She's a smart lady. I mean, she married me. Come on.
I know. All right, where did you live in the South? Virginia
and Florida, down just outside of West Palm, up in Stuart, Florida. And I spent.
Did you like that?
I loved it. And I spent about 2 weeks. I tell people I was running from the law. I spent 2 weeks in Monroe, Louisiana. Man. I got asked down there by a fellow radio guy. He's like, I got this great job for you. And he really shined. He really polished that pretty hard. And I got down there. I'm like, this is nothing like what you said. I'm like, can't do it.
And you could not stay.
Couldn't do it. So I'm sure it's a lovely town now. But back in the day, nope, not so much.
You could not do it.
Couldn't do it. Finally, Leanne, the Olympics next year in Paris. If life were like the Olympics, and what's the one thing you do so well you would get a gold medal in it?
Kissing on babies.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's perfect. So if you're going to gold medal in anything.
I could not, Lord, I've got inflammation in my knees. I mean, I was athletic, and I played sports growing up. They could not get me to do that, anything like that. I cannot do it, but I could kiss babies, and I could do laundry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are two important things
Mm-hmm.
to be able to gold medal in for sure. All right, Leanne Morgan, October 7th, Century 2. Century 2. Tickets available, but going fast. I encourage you to buy them. Leanne's very funny. She's also got that special on Netflix, I'm Every Woman. If you haven't watched it, watch it, and keep an eye open for the movie coming soon with Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon, called You're Cordially Invited. Always a treat to talk to you, Leanne.
You don't. Thank you. I've had a ball, and you've had interesting questions. Thank you for making me think.